Hey everybody, welcome to the Happy Harvest Homestead. Today we are talking about taking pregnant rabbits out of the colony so they can give birth by themselves, and then putting them back in when the babies are older. If I can be blunt and honest with you, let me just say that this is a terrible idea, and if you're thinking about it, please don't do anything until you watch this video through before you make a giant mistake that'll be really hard to fix. Honestly, I can totally see where this idea comes from, especially if someone is beginning with a colony and they're not very confident in the new facts they're learning because they've been brainwashed by all the cage raisers talking about how rabbits are cruel to each other and they'll kill each other's babies and they have to stay solitary and it's risky to house them together. Then yes, I can see how you would want to play it safe. And of course you want your rabbits to have a good life and have friends and live a natural, healthy life. So you'll have them live together. But you also want productive rabbits and successful litters. So you'll take them out of the colony just to be safe, to breed them and have them get pregnant and have babies. Because you've heard all these horror stories of other rabbits killing litters and does fighting over kits and baby rabbits starving to death because all the rabbits are living together, and you would just rather not deal with any of that and just compromise on the natural living a little bit and have them in cages just to be safe. And while I completely understand the thinking, I have to say this thinking is completely wrong, and if you do this, you will regret it so bad. First of all, let me reassure you that rabbits are meant to live together. While it is true that rabbits in North America live very solitary lives and they will fight each other and they will kill each other, and if you are living in North America and observing wild rabbits, you see this all the time, so it's subconsciously reinforcing your thinking. Let me remind you that our domestic rabbits are descended from European rabbits, which are completely different than North American rabbits. And European rabbits live together in colonies or warrens. They will dig huge, massive underground buildings together, kind of like little apartments, and they'll all be friends, and there will be a couple bucks to breed them, and all the rabbits choose to live together, and it works perfectly. And our rabbits are descended from those rabbits, so when we separate our rabbits out into little individual cages, it is actually going against their natural state, which often causes a lot of problems. But thankfully, you are considering letting your rabbits live in their natural state again, and even though for many generations they have been separated and raised unnaturally, you are trying to go back to the way things are supposed to be and raise them the way they're supposed to live. But you can't just stick a bunch of random rabbits together and then take some out sometimes and put them back in and take them out and put them back in again. That is a complete recipe for disaster. Most groups of animals of any type need to be in a hierarchy. Think of dogs, think of goats, think of wolves. There's the alpha, and then the betas, and then the super low ones. I know in our goat herd, Millie is the lowest goat on the pecking order, and she always gets bullied by the other goats. And Tessa is the highest goat. She's the queen of the herd, and she does most of the headbutting. And this is the same case for rabbits. When you put a group of rabbits together, they have to figure out, sometimes very violently, who's in charge, who's the strongest, who's in the middle, who's the weakest. And then once they figure that out, they are comfortable with their pecking order and they live their life together as normal. I apologize for interrupting this enthralling video, but I want to take this opportunity to announce that my handmade crochet dish scrubbies are now on sale. I have been perfecting this pattern for years, and me, my family, our friends and neighbors all rave about these scrubbies. They are the perfect size to fit in your hand, and they are very bendable, so you can easily clean the nooks and crannies of your dishes and cutlery. Because they are made with 100% cotton yarn, they are very durable and will last for years, and it is super easy to clean and reuse them. Each pack includes 7 scrubbies, so you can use one each day. Then at the end of the week, take all your dirty scrubbies, put them in a mesh bag, then stick them in your washer and then in your dryer as usual. Then they are all fresh and clean and ready to be used for the next week. The link to my Etsy store is in the description box below this video if you want to check them out. Alright, now back to the video. Then when us meddling humans come in and take rabbits out of the colony to get bred or to give birth because we think we're helping the situation, we completely wreck their pecking order. All the remaining rabbits have to refigure out, oh no, Susan is gone, what do we do now? We have to refigure who's in charge and who's not. So the rest of you rabbits have to fight it out again. Then meanwhile, poor Susan, she has become used to this natural state of living and being, and it feels so right to her, and she's found her place in the hierarchy, and she loves snuggling with her friends. And now, at a very sensitive time in her life, when she is supposed to be fertile and getting bred, or when she's pregnant and carrying babies, you're putting a ton of stress on her by ripping her away from her tribe and sticking her off in a little cage all by herself. So she's depressed, she's sad, she's stressed, the other rabbits are stressed. And that's not even the worst part. Even worse is when, okay, it's been a couple weeks and Susan has some babies, so now we're putting Susan back in the colony so she can be with her friends again. Well, it's been a couple weeks and those friends have assumed she's dead, and they have a new hierarchy all set up because you made them build a whole new one when you took her away. So now there's this new rabbit in here again. So what they have to do, the entire pecking order is broken and they have to figure it out from scratch again, which is super stressful on all the rabbits. And now Susan is nursing a bunch of little 3-week-old babies, and these little babies are being attacked and fought because, oh no, there's babies and how do they fit in the hierarchy? And I'm being extra aggressive over food this week because I'm trying to prove that I'm the top doe. So instead of being nice and letting these little babies eat, I'm going to fight them off. And so the babies are stressed and they're starving, and the mom, poor mama, she is trying to nurse her babies and she's getting fought and her babies are getting fought and everything is chaotic. And even if you wait till the babies are weaned and leave them out of all the chaos and just stick Susan back in the colony by herself, she still has to deal with figuring out an entire new pecking order. And you know, sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures, and your pregnant doe is sick or something, so you don't want her to spread to other rabbits. And I, in the past, have had to do this, where one time I've made the sacrifice and took a doe out of the colony and then put her back in a couple weeks later and just made sure to keep a close eye on everybody, and everything worked out okay. But a lot of people don't want to do this just once in only emergency situations. They want to do this all the time for all their does. And once you have the proper knowledge of how rabbits actually work, you realize how ridiculous this is. You can't do that to your rabbits. That's not nice. That's not helpful. That's harsh and mean and stressful. You want your rabbits to have a nice, calm, loving life and live in their natural state. It's natural for rabbits to have babies together and to have multiple nests with multiple kits of multiple ages all in the same colony. Sometimes there'll be 2 best friend does or mother and daughter does who will share a nest box, and when done properly, it can be a beautiful thing. Of course, there are some crazy does who will kill other litters, but that is very, very rare. And the risk of that happening to you is much less than the for sure calamity you will cause your entire rabbitry if you keep taking rabbits out and in and out and in. Once a group of rabbits is together, you should keep them together. And if you're going to separate them, then just separate them forever. Don't keep switching back and forth, because that's the worst of both worlds. Hopefully this didn't come out as too harsh. I'm not trying to be mean to people, especially people just starting out, but I wanted to make sure that the severity of the situation comes across clearly. But hopefully my blunt and honest tone has made sense, and hopefully the entire world can watch this video and nobody will ever take a pregnant rabbit out of their colony ever again. Thanks for watching.